like people to be unsettled by my work. The work I make is kind of broadly speaking about identity. Up until recently, I've been the only character in my work, so I dress up in elaborate costume and makeup, and I transform myself into different, often kind of grotesque, surreal characters.
I feel, therefore I am.
I largely work in green screen, creating worlds which feel kind of synthetic and otherworldly, seductive, but hopefully a little bit unsettling too. I studied painting, but a couple of years in started making videos, but I'm still really inspired by painting, and because I work with green screen, it's almost like the way that you can bring moving image into more like a painting practice, in that you shoot characters but then you make the backgrounds afterwards. You have this control over light and this control over an environment which can make it feel painterly, in that sense that paintings are not real. Often the scales and the kind of situations that people are placed within a painting are invented or constructed, and I think that's the nice thing for me, or what attracted me to green screen, was the ability to take a painting practice and almost apply it to the moving image. There's very obvious references to paintings in all of my work. Make Me Up is my longest film yet, and it, I guess, responds in lots of ways to art history. The work follows a character, Siri, who you see kind of birthed almost Pygmalion-like into this world.
Open it up.
Oh, I'm so hungry.
It seems partly like a nunnery, but also partly like a kind of reality TV show. She's brought into a congregation of women who are being put through these tasks where if you fail the task, you just kind of drop through the floor. And gradually, along with her, you understand the kind of darker underpinnings of the world.
One can see that she must once have been a beauty.
Leading the congregation is this character played by me, who speaks entirely with the voice of Kenneth Clarke from the 1960s BBC series Civilization.
Looking at those great works of Western man, and remembering all that he's achieved in philosophy, poetry, science, lawmaking, it does seem hard to believe that European civilization can ever vanish. And yet, you know, it has happened once.
And I was interested, I guess, through Kenneth Clarke in looking at the canon of art history.
The great religious art of the world in every country is deeply involved with the female principle.
And the extent to which, definitely in Civilization, artists are represented as men, and very often the images that they make are of women or of women's bodies. The image of the Rockaway Venus of Lasquith in the National Gallery, I think it was really kind of a powerful image, and it still resonates today, that sense of a painting which is in effect pornographic, or it's an objectified image of a woman for the male gaze. And it's powerful because of the incident of Mary Richardson, the suffragette, slashing it. The idea of kind of slashing or destroying that as an act of almost kind of terrorism, to me, is quite exciting. And I think that, especially given that we live in such a visual culture, and so much of the way that we receive information is through images, that I think that that sense of a history communicated through a visual act to me is powerful. I wanted to make me up to explicitly look at the gaze and the male gaze, and I think you've got this problem, I guess, as a female filmmaker or artist, where you're dealing with a history of cinema that has been defined by the male gaze, and it's how you escape that in the way that you make work, or how you can make work that seems kind of liberated from that. In the work, there's these little cameras that follow the women that look like kind of cute eyes, that just seem to be the system of control that's watching and monitoring their behaviour. And I like the idea of having this slightly cutesy representation of the male gaze on the screen, as well as, you know, dealing with it as a female filmmaker. I think selfie culture and kind of social media culture comes up quite a lot in my work.
Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. So, I've got a surprise. I'm getting plastic surgery. Ah!
It's quite a complex thing because selfies are self-representation, and you know, very often internet stars are women or young women, and there's something empowering about I guess representing yourself, not being represented by somebody else, which is so much of what art history is men representing women. Nonetheless, a lot of selfies and a lot of kind of social media stars conform quite anxiously to a homogenized idea of beauty. I spent quite a long time watching all these videos of YouTube stars going to get identical looking nose jobs. There's something exciting about the selfie, but there's also something kind of sad about seeing the extent to which I think women, and I'm sure myself included, internalise misogyny, and you don't need somebody else to represent you for you to represent something which essentially is designed for the male gaze. I'm interested in the kind of infantilization of the adult world.
Look at me!
And the culture around cute, and I think that in some ways, like, contemporary life is obsessed with cuteness, and cuteness has invaded the adult world. Consumerism, consumer capitalism sort of depends upon cuteness. I was looking quite a lot at adult onesies. You know, Google image search always has a cute little animation. We're all sending each other, like, you know, emojis, and there's a kind of Snapchat filters in this sense of, I don't know, an escapism through cute imageries, or a sense of nostalgia to childhood. I think that's a childhood that's not the reality of childhood, it's childhood in the adult imagination. Like Teletubby Land, it's this kind of day-glow utopia that seems completely sealed off from the adult world. I think this idea of us protecting children is often not really protecting children, it's protecting our idea of what childhood is and an idea of what a child should be. All my work is interested in power.
Feed my sheep.
There's an obvious connection between voice and power, where if you have a voice, then you have power, and if you're voiceless, you're powerless. I take on the voices often of powerful people and mime their voice, often shifting the context or shifting the meaning through, you know, how I present them and how I present the world that they're in. To me, there's something quite cheeky about taking the voice of a powerful figure and using that to talk about their power, or to explore the problems of the way that kind of power is manifest.
What is civilization? I don't know.
A voice like Kenneth Clarke's, who's a very powerful figure, and I think his legacy is still very powerful. I wanted that to be quite, I guess, an obvious fact of the film, that the women, for the most part, the congregation of women can't speak. and as part of their kind of liberation, they get their voices back.
Comrades, ye who have dared, first in the battle to strive and sorrow, scorned, spurned, not have ye cared, raising your eyes to a wider morrow.
And there's this sort of cacophony of voices at the end that is taken from all sorts of different sources, but all female voices talking about
You know what it is, right?
Yep.
different angles on feminism.
Our feminist woman did not do that for us girls and us boys. We would not be like we are right now.
And that, being translated, means that men do not like women unless they are childish, deferring and submissive.
Hopefully for an audience it's quite an exciting thing to see that kind of restraint and then to see this almost release of voices and the power that comes with that.
Strife is to our one, not hanging men, but by faith and daring.
I like in my work using comedy, I think particularly as a woman.
What about these women and girls who go around burning the bras? What do you think of that?
I mean, those girls are beautiful. Any girl that wants to be naked, guys get to show their titties on the beach. Why can't we?
I think women have kind of been denied funniness for so long
What do you think of that? Oh, I think that's awful.
because there's a power in comedy, and so much of the history of comedy has been men making jokes often at the expense of women, and I think the fear of female comedy is that women are going to make jokes at the expense of men.
Boring, woman!
Is he pestering you?
So I think there's something for me that's subversive and that's we're still not quite used to as a culture, the idea of women being funny. I hope my film's unsettled perspective maybe on art history, ways that we look at gender, ways that we approach popular culture.
You want me to play? You want me to go down your red carpet and be your fucking Barbie doll? Be your fucking Barbie doll. You want to play? Let's go.